Recently, NBA player Steph Curry achieved the amazing feat of making 105 three-pointers in a row at the end of practice. This is something that likely no one else in the world has ever accomplished. So how was he able to develop the skill to not only become one of, if not the greatest shooter of all time? Repetition. Let's look at the science behind building skill. When we move or think, we create electrical impulses that travel through our nerve fibers. We call these connected fibers circuits. Each circuit is responsible for a certain action. When we move a part of our body, it is the result of electrical impulses passing through brain circuits to our muscles. The neural circuits are encased in a substance called myelin, which acts as an insulator for neural circuits and also regulates how quickly and precisely a signal can travel along a circuit. Thus, the more we work on a skill, the more myelin we develop, the smoother the signal, and the more accurate you become at that skill. To put this in simpler terms, imagine a cable of wires wrapped in black rubber. The more rubber you add around the wires, the smoother the signal will pass through the wires, and the better you will become at performing the desired skill. So, practice makes perfect, right? Wrong. What makes Steph Curry so good is not just that he spent hours upon hours shooting threes, but because he spent those hours working in deliberate practice. There is a difference, and it's huge. When you work in deliberate practice, you are doing a few things differently than just going and shooting around. 1. You aren't mindlessly going through the motions. You are paying attention to things you are doing well and the things that need to be improved. You know what actions have produced success for other players in the past, and you are working on developing those same skills and actions. 2. You are receiving immediate feedback and you are working to implement it into your skill. Athletes that are very skilled don't just do it, they do it correctly. They pay attention to coaching and results to adjust their skills in order to see more success in the future. And 3, you spend hours and hours working on that skill. There is no doubt that when you spend this much time working on a skill that it will become boring or monotonous at some point. Do you have the ability and discipline to stay focused for extended periods of time in order to build that skill? One way to measure if you are spending enough time working on a skill that you hope to master is to use the 10,000 hour rule brought to popularity by author Malcolm Gladwell. He states that to become a master at anything, you need to spend at least 10,000 hours practicing that skill. Now, this isn't an exact science, but it does give you an idea and a baseline of how much time you need to spend working on a skill if you want to become great. So, to review, we now know that when you repeat a skill over and over, you will improve that action. But that is not enough. You need to make sure that you are working in deliberate practice and not just mindlessly going through the motions. Pay attention to your successes and your failures, accept immediate feedback, and be disciplined enough to work on the time when practice isn't as exciting. Your next step is to go to www.inner-rival.com and reach out to Jeff and get started defeating your inner rival.